Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? All right, so a few commenters left me this message that Dominic Breazeale will possibly have a fight with Artur Szpilka in January or February when Breazeale returns. So I went and I found the interview, and it's on Behind the Gloves, Michelle Joy Phelps, her YouTube channel. I'll probably leave it in the description box, and you can click on it and watch it yourself. But yeah, Breazeale, he did mention Artur Szpilka. He says nothing is concrete yet, but that's the name that they're mentioning right now and they're throwing around. Me as a fan, I love the idea of the fight. I think it's a good fight. Both these guys will be coming off of knockout losses. And usually when guys come off of defeats like that, they're not going into a competitive fight the next fight. It's usually against a opponent that they're a heavy favorite against, and somebody to go in there and knock the rust off, those type of situations. But this is a situation where this is a 50-50 to a pick'em type of fight. So I applaud them for that. If this fight comes about, I applaud them for that. When I break down the fight between the two, Breazeale's a guy. Szpilka has more experience than him, so you would think, just some fans, they have this thought that Breazeale's like this young guy. I mean, he is young. He's only 31 years old, but Szpilka's 27, but he has way more experience than Breazeale, who's 31. Came over from football, and he trained, and he made the Olympics, and he's here as a pro now. But Szpilka has more experience than him. He's been in there with overall more experienced guys, in my opinion. I know Breazeale was just in there with Joshua. He was in there with Mir Mansour and Fred Cassie. Szpilka's been in there with Jennings and Wilder. Even Jamel McCline, an old veteran, but a big old veteran guy, trying to deal with his size. Mike Malo twice, who's a tough guy. You might not think much of him, but Malo's a tough dude, man. That dude's no pussy. Tomas Adamek, much older, but still, yes, I know he was in lower weight classes, but he was a title holder in those weight classes, and he proved to be, a formidable guy up until his last fight with Molina. Adamek's always been formidable, whether he came from light heavyweight and cruiserweight or not. He still showed to be a formidable guy in the ring on fight night. All right, so then I've seen Artur Szpilka working out and staying in shape down there at the Plex gym out there in Texas, Ronnie Shields gym, out there training and putting in work. I haven't seen a six-pack on Artur Szpilka. That dude's pretty in some damn good shape. Seen him sparring Molina a few months ago. He's always sparring down there at the Plex, man. So he's been staying in shape. He looks fast and powerful in the mitts still. Looked like he never got knocked out. You know what I mean? But again, we'll see on fight night once he starts getting hit with right hands again how his body's going to react. But he's a young dude. You know what I mean? Only 27 years old. Breazeale's, be coming off a knockout loss to AJ. Now, I understand Szpilka was knocked unconscious against Wilder, all right? And I'm going to stay consistent. I said this in my immediate post-fight video. I thought Szpilka was up 4-3-1 going into that ninth round. There's a few other uploaders that had the same score as I did, 4-3-1. You know what I mean? So I thought it was competitive. Not that he was whooping Deontay Wilder, but I thought he was winning the action. A lot of feinting and posturing and both guys trying to initiate the jab. I just thought he was winning most of that feinting and posturing and jabbing. I thought he was winning it. You know what I mean? But heavyweight division and Wilder took care of business. You know what I mean? So, and I think all the judges had Wilder up too, but that was just my opinion on it. But Szpilka, man, I think he'll try to do what Mir Mansour was doing against Dominic Breazeale. Not just pick your spots, give him problems with that southpaw stance, be in and out, move a little bit, work combinations especially when you're close, work combinations. Breazeale has a tendency, when I watch him, he's a big guy that likes to just get into a dust up. I like that about him. You know what I mean? I like that about him, especially in the age of big guys wanting to hold. Not to say he's the best inside fighter as a big guy. It's not like a Riddick Bowe situation, but he likes the dust up. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think that can get him in trouble, being he's a guy that's 6'7" with long arms. You want him to work behind his jab. But he has that fighting spirit, man. You can tell he's a very competitive guy. But I think that can be a problem like it was against Mansour. I think that could be a problem against Szpilka when you're trying to exchange from close quarters like that. Szpilka, I believe, only has like a 76-inch reach, which is very, that's not a long reach for a guy that's 6'4", in my opinion. Um, but it's not, he doesn't have the shortest arms, but uh, I guess it's around average. I think 78, 76 around average, but he doesn't have long arms, not as long as Breazeale's. You know what I mean? So, but he does know how to work his jab, and Szpilka does know how to fight from a distance. So, but the thing is, fight from that far distance, Breazeale is he likes to throw his right hand. He has a strong right hand. It's not the most technically sound as far as the delivery and the technique, but it's a hard right hand. Especially if he's landing it at the full extension, he's getting full extension on it. He has a good right hand. I would want him to jab a little bit more and set it up. You know what I mean? Because he's 6'7". Just fight tall. You can still be aggressive and come forward, but just walk guys down with that jab and double jab. You know what I mean? But both these guys got tremendous heart as far as their fighting spirit. So I think they're about even right there when it comes to that. But just skill-wise, I think Szpilka's a little bit more sharp. I think he's more sharp with his skills. Seems like the quicker guy, the more fast twitch guy as far as being a fighter. He seems a little bit more fluid. Seems to know his identity as a fighter, in my opinion. Because with Breazeale, he seems like he wants to have a dust-up, but I think he should fight behind his jab. So it just seems like Szpilka knows who he is. You know what I mean? I think he just has confidence in his ability a little bit more than Breazeale, who's still learning. Even after the fight with Joshua, man, I seen a good attitude from the kid. And he had mentioned that he went back and watched the Joshua tape and tried to see things that he could have done better. He also thinks that he's better than he thought by watching the fight. He thought there was things there that he could have taken advantage of, but he didn't. Whether you believe him or not, just the fact that he's going back, looking at things, trying to capitalize on his mistakes, that says a lot, in my opinion, when I look at a fighter. You know what I mean? He's still training. Since the loss, he's been posting nothing but positive messages on his Instagram account. He didn't go into hiding or depression. He's right back at it. You know what I mean? So it doesn't surprise me this kid or this guy was, played collegiate football and was a starting quarterback. He has that competitive mindset, and you need that, especially in a sport like this, because it's just you in there. And to some guys, getting knocked out is embarrassing to them. And these guys are just back in the gym working. They really live that. They really have that fighter's mentality of a fighter, not just a guy that wins all the time. As soon as you lose, you want to go somewhere hiding. Nah, man, they're right back at it, and they're right back at it into a competitive fight. But I want to see Breazeale use his jab a little bit more, though, in that right hand. I think Szpilka just has a little bit more in the toolbox. I think he could do a little bit more, and I think he can possibly beat Breazeale in different ways on the outside. I think he can pot shot in and out. And I think if Breazeale try to have a dust-up with him in close, I can see Szpilka. I mean, both these guys have hit the canvas, you know what I mean? So I can see either of these guys getting knocked down and getting up and fighting back. But I would favor Szpilka in this fight probably 55-45. But it's a close 50-55. But I'll probably slightly favor Szpilka in this fight. I just think the defense a little bit better. I like the way he can slip punches. And I think that southpaw stance possibly could give Breazeale trouble the way Mansour was giving him trouble. Yes, I know that Breazeale got off the canvas and he beat Mansour, whether you want to say Mansour was swallowing his blood. I think he ripped his tongue open. You want to just say he quit. Whatever you want to say. I mean, Mansour's a tough dude, man. But I do believe a lot of that had to do with Breazeale's persistence and him coming forward. And he started to land that right hand. And he was, it probably didn't visibly just hurt Mansour, have him rock all over the place. But at the same time, it was hurting him. You know what I mean? And that has something to do with his mouth getting busted open. You know what I mean? So you guys let me know what you think about this fight. Who would you favor, Szpilka or Breazeale? Looking at the rankings here real quick, I see Breazeale is no longer rated by any of the sanctioning bodies. I see Szpilka is rated number 6 by the WBC. So, yeah, man, I'll slightly favor Szpilka in this fight. But this is why they fight the fights, man. I wouldn't be surprised not one bit if Breazeale beats him in this fight. Just with the size and the relentlessness. And we'll see what he's worked on technically in these last months since his loss to Anthony Joshua. And we will see if this fight takes place. We'll see what, how Szpilka will deal with that right hand. And I think if Breazeale gets right hand crazy and that's all he's trying to land, I can see Szpilka timing that, parrying that. He'll get hit with some right hands, but nothing that I think that'll knock him out. I think he'll be able to take that away if that's the only thing that Breazeale's going to bring to the table is a right hand, because it took Wilder till the ninth round to land it flush like that to get him out of there in a fight that I thought that was close up until then. And I don't think Breazeale punches as hard as Deontay Wilder, shot for shot. That's just me. But let me know what you think in the comment section. I'm out.